Good afternoon, students and families. Welcome to our last College and Career Exploration panel of the summer. I'm Jessica Torres, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for Families in Schools. At Families in Schools, we involve families and communities in their children's education to achieve lifelong success. And we do this through advocacy, professional development for educators, and community engagement programs such as Passport to Success. So it's somewhat bittersweet as we wrap up our Passport to Success College and Career Edition campaign, but we are so excited to review all the incredible work students have submitted, and I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have. So as a reminder, student workbooks are due this coming Sunday, August 1st by 11:59 p.m. So students can submit via the link bit.ly/PTS submission 2021, as you can see below. Or you can go ahead and email me at jtorres@familiesinschools.org. So once again, those students who have participated in Passport to Success and who have been working on their workbook all summer long, the workbooks are due this coming Sunday, August 1st by 11:59 p.m. So please submit them as soon as you can. And so now to get started with our last panel of the summer. I just want to say I'm really excited that today's conversation will be on self-care. It's honestly one of my personal favorite topics. And it's also just one that's so important in today's world. So with that being said, I would like to introduce today's moderator, Fernanda Napoles, who I am so looking forward to leading this panel, as not only has she worked as a student advisor, but she is currently supporting first-gen students and advocates for their mental health. In addition, she is in her second year of graduate school. So Fernanda, thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm really excited to have you lead this conversation. So it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. So it's a pleasure to be with you guys all here today. As Jessica mentioned, this is a topic that is dear to me as well. In today's panel, self-care tips for students during and after a pandemic will be discussed. So students and their families will have the opportunity to learn about the importance of prioritizing self-care during college, understand the various types of self-care, and hear from current students on how they are taking care of themselves as they navigate middle school, high school, college, and grad school, of course, during a pandemic. Families will better understand how they can support their students' mental wellness and help their students to build healthy habits that will aid them in high school, college, and beyond. So I am now going to be introducing our panelists. I'm going to let them introduce themselves with their name, grade level, and school. So panelists, whoever wants to go ahead and introduce themselves can jump right in.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm also very excited to talk about self-care. My name is Catherine Gonzalez. I'm going to be a senior in high school at Bishop Conady, Our Lady of Loretto. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Guerra, and I'm a first-year college student at Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm so excited to be here with you all.
Hi everyone, my name is Curtis Simpson. I play basketball. I go to Anderson Charter School and I'm in the 7th grade.
Thank you, panelists. As you guys can see, we have a wide range of grade levels. I wanted to start off with asking you guys personally. I know this whole pandemic has created a lot of stress for a lot of us. How have you been dealing with these new stress or challenges that you have faced? And again, anybody can jump in. Curtis?
Well, honestly, self-care has really changed me a lot. But now that I'm on summer break, I've been chilling really. But while I was in school, it was really affecting me a lot because my grades weren't that good. But I started to get good grades, and it honestly came from stress. But I'm now feeling better now. So.
Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are with you in that one with the stress of managing school and home life. Sometimes that's a little bit overwhelming for us, and especially staying on top of both things. Any of the other panelists, how have you been dealing with these new stresses that have come due to the pandemic or challenges? I know we have Melissa, it was your first year of college at Cal Poly Pomona. So I'm pretty sure that first year it was not expected to be fully online. So I'm not sure if you want to share.
Yeah, of course. I'm actually going into Cal Poly, so I'm kind of like, I guess you could say I'm a freshman in college. So I haven't really experienced online yet, which I am. Hopefully, I'm not going to experience this year, but if I do, now I know a little bit how to handle it. And well, basically, in my senior year was all online, and how I dealt with it, well, excuse me, was I went to therapy. I know therapy is a weird subject to talk about, but I know I needed a little extra help, and I feel like going to therapy almost every week actually helped me calm my stresses, my anxiety. It was just a way for me to say what I had to say, regardless how silly it sound or how uncomfortable it was. It was a way for me to basically just let everything out and find the root of it and then solve it from there. So I think therapy was really my grounding mechanisms so I can come back in the present and be able to deal with all these stresses and anxiety of senior year online in a pandemic. So yeah, I think therapy really helped me.
And that's really good, Melissa, that you took initiative taking therapy. I know it's a very taboo thing that a lot of us aren't introduced. And I am very glad that you decided to take that route and that has helped you a lot and tremendously, especially during your senior year. I know there's a lot of important events that happen during senior year that most likely you missed due to the pandemic. Catherine, I know you're going into 12th grade, so how was your passage? How have you been dealing with these new stresses or challenges that you may have faced?
Yeah, something that I would like to touch on is just to let everybody know, self-care is not selfish at all. I feel like Melissa said, she started going to a therapist and she said it's about a little bit taboo, and it absolutely should not be, because self-care is being compassionate and kind to yourself. For example, for me, how I manage my day is okay, school, extra classes, and then more classes. So I don't really have time. So what I started doing was okay, I can take my classes, I can do what I like, and just for an hour a day, it's going to be me time. And by me time, I mean putting my phone away, going outside. Even sometimes we even forget to go outside, specifically during a pandemic where we're just focused on our screen, all of our classes online. So going outside really helps. And I also started journaling, which is amazing. And sometimes I don't have anything to journal about. So you just start, a great tip is just start writing what you ate today. Did you forget to eat? Did you forget to go outside? Write about that, and your ideas will flow. And it doesn't even have to be in complete sentences, but that 100% helps so much.
Yes, that is correct, Catherine. I know I was guilty during this whole pandemic of forgetting to go outside. And we're all cooped in. Sometimes stress happens even more. So it's good that you took nature into your self-care and journaling. It is wonderful. I give you props for doing that. I'll stick to the walks for now. But that is wonderful ways to deal with stressors that became new because of the pandemic, and each and one of you guys adapted in a different way. Again, you guys are all in different grade levels, so you guys had different challenges within your grade level. So I wanted to go on to our next question. Is there a ritual such as meal prep for the week or a designated study space that has helped you reduce your anxiety? If so, can you tell us what you do or how it supports you in any way?
Yeah, I can absolutely go ahead. I'm really happy that Catherine actually brought up journaling because that is my ritual as well, is to journal. So I brought a little show and tell. So I have this green journal where I kind of write down little prompts I do every morning to kind of start my day and calm my anxieties, because sometimes I would wake up already feeling anxiety even though my day doesn't really start. So with this, doing this every morning, I'm allowed to start my day on a good note and write down like my manifestations, how I'm going to make today a little bit different than yesterday, positive affirmations, all of things like that have allowed me to calm down my anxiety and not basically worry about my future too much, because our thoughts can our thoughts can go against us, and they're not really facts. So I feel like has allowed me to put those negative thoughts away in a good place, which calmed down my anxiety. So a ritual I would really recommend is journaling, whether it's like writing down prompts or just writing whatever. I feel like that's like the key thing that holds to me having a good day, is once I sit down and write what I have to write to feel better.
That is great. I see Melissa and you have something in common. Maybe you guys can show, maybe Melissa can show us her journal if she has it handy there as well. But any other rituals? I know journaling is a great thing. Curtis, do you have any ritual that has helped you reduce your anxiety or your stress during this time?
Yes. But my anxiety down by like a lot is like during me time, like you know, like maybe taking a walk outside or just talking to myself if you want to. But yeah, that really just calms me down and do what I want to do and not hang out with my friends or get away from the electronics for once, because like those two said, you're all like used to on this we're used to like looking at the screen all day and like in Zoom classes and stuff, which it gets a little bit annoying. So I think it's best that we all like go walk outside and take a deep breath and maybe get to know yourself a little bit.
Yeah, and that's very true. Taking a little walk away from our electronics, sometimes, especially during the pandemic, there was this thing called Zoom fatigue that I'm pretty sure all of us experienced, especially if you had classes back to back. It was something that you were just staring at your computer screen from probably 8 a.m. all the way till 3 or 2. And that could be exhausting, not only on your eyes, but also on you mentally. So taking that time to walk or take that time outside is very, very helpful. And how about Melissa? Do you have any other um, rituals that you may want to share, or meal preps that have or a designated study space?
Other rituals. I'm not sure if this can kind of consider a ritual, but I do try to practice meditating, whenever I can, even if it's just 5 minutes. It's just a way for me to kind of like you said, put down the electronics, close the computer screen, and just kind of be present in the moment. It's really hard if I feel like meditating sounds so easy, but sometimes it can be discouraging because, you're sitting down, but you're still thinking. And I feel like that's like what makes people kind of run away from meditating, but that's perfectly okay. Like even if you're sitting there and you're still thinking, it's still a practice. You're still taking that time out of your day just to practice that ritual. That's already step one of you taking care of yourself, regardless if you're in the moment or you're still in your head. It's like a little struggle that I go through from time to time, where I'm like, I'm not really meditating, I'm still in my head, I'm not really doing this ritual correctly. But in reality, there's not really a correct way to do self-care or meditate or anything on those aspects. But I do really think meditating has helped me. It's a ritual that really does help me, again, re-ground myself and allow me to just be in the moment and not try my best not to worry about everything else that's going on around me.
Yeah, that's good. And meditating is one of the great things. I know there's many apps like mindfulness app. I know on Netflix they have the mindful show going on that you can either do it for if you're having a heavy day for stress or if you want to fall asleep. I know I personally have issues falling asleep, so I definitely tune that in on Netflix. And how about you, Catherine? Do you have any rituals, meal preps, designated study space?
Yeah. Routines have scientifically been proven to help with mental health. And to me, a routine is very stressful, but we manage it very easily. For example, number one, make your bed. And I know you're gonna think, how is that gonna help with like mental health? But once you make your bed, you know you accomplished something that day. Every day, what I like to do is see, okay, what do I have to look forward to today? Because every day is a new day and every day is a blessing, but sometimes it's a little bit hard. It's like, okay, it's school, then this, then it seems like that every single day. So having something to look forward to, for example, today I'm gonna try to cook a new meal. Today I'm gonna go outside. Today I'm gonna practice a new skincare. That's 100% like what I like to do, having something new every single day.
And that is very true, Catherine. I know routine helps a lot. Making your bed probably the first thing in the morning will help. Um, especially because majority of the time during this pandemic we spent inside, and I know most of us probably spent it in a room or in a designated area where you probably want to reduce clutter. You want to keep it clean. Having positive affirmations definitely help to get your day started every day. But wonderful responses for rituals. I know there's a lot more. Designated study spaces, definitely we want to cover those up with positive affirmations that we still can do it, even though we're feeling pretty fatigued due to all this virtual learning that we're going through currently. So I wanted to go to my next question. What are new stresses, anxiety, or challenges you are facing now that students pre-pandemic didn't have?
I'm not sure if this is like a new, stressor or new unrelated to that, but I did realize that my stress became so overwhelming that it like kind of drained my body. And I didn't really put into perspective how much stress can affect your body, just like it can affect your mental health and all of the above. So I did realize that my body would feel fatigue. I would feel like I don't want to get up, and I thought it was just being lazy and I was just, I would always just be hard on myself and call myself lazy. But if you kind of put it into perspective, like we went through a lot these past, 2-ish years, especially in 2020. So I feel like all that stress obviously is going to be bottled up and then bleed out into other things, especially your body. So that's one thing I'm still struggling today is to kind of calm myself down a bit so it doesn't really affect my body and kind of just it's really complicated how much stress can like affect your body, but it really does, and I feel like it's not talked about as much. So I do think that's a new thing for me because I've dealt with stress before, but I've never really felt it like a physical thing. Like it was always in my brain, but since the pandemic started and until now, it's really took a toll on my body, and I feel like I don't know if I'm the only one, but I just want to say if you feel the same way, you're not alone. I definitely think my body is overwhelmed with all that's going on.
And I'm pretty sure you're not alone in this, Melissa. I know there's a lot of people that have gotten stress, anxiety because this whole pandemic caught us off guard in a way. And we went from a regular day to going lockdown, and that's a very stressful thing that we as humans did not expect. So when stress comes to us, it does affect our body. It sometimes makes us feel sleepy, it makes us feel tired. We don't want to do anything. And well, we're stuck in the house. So the couch starts becoming comfortable, and then there goes your class. So it is a trickling effect. But I am with you 100%. Stress was added to me once the pandemic started, just because there was a lot of unknown factors and it was a lot of fear going on during this time. And Curtis or Catherine, do you guys have any input on what new stresses, anxiety, or challenges you are currently facing that students pre-pandemic didn't have?
Well, now that I'm on summer break, I'm not really like feeling stressful or anything. But like once we had to like while we were in class or on our Zoom meetings, I was like I said like earlier in the meeting, I was really feeling stressful, and I was like really nervous for like school and everything. But I was really feeling stressful because like the work was really hard, and coming into middle school, I didn't really expect that, especially being on Zoom. So that was really kind of tough on my end, and I feel like any sixth grader that came into sixth grade on Zoom, it was really stressful because we had to like figure out how to do this, we had to figure out how to do that, and while if we were in school, it would be right in front of us. We'll have somebody to guide us what to do or where we need to go for our classes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was a really stressful year for me in sixth grade.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally understand that. I know I had a lot of students come into my office hours, not even office, asking me how to navigate a Google Doc, and it was a lot of students that were coming in as first-time freshmen that they never have seen the school before. They have never done Google Docs or Google Classroom, so it was a very difficult time for a lot of students that were transitioning from one school to another because it's a whole new environment and it's additional stress on top of your schoolwork, on top of what you already have going on maybe in your home life. So I completely understand, Curtis, and I am glad that you pushed through it and now you're somewhat enjoying your summer break. And Catherine, do you have any input on this question?
I was gonna say, for me, the stress is trying to remember where I put my mask. That's definitely something kids before a pandemic wouldn't know. But for me, I guess stress would be, again, just having to be in the computer, having my room feel like an office every day. It's just, okay, I have my computer, my notebooks, and everything. But I've definitely been able to manage that again, having that 1 hour just for yourself, even if you don't have an hour, 30 minutes. Put them aside just on you. Turn your electronics off. Go outside. If you can't go outside because of COVID and everything, just even if you just go outside of your room, that is 100% the best thing ever. Take a shower, take two. Like, hygiene is super important. And I feel like sometimes in the pandemic, people have been forgetting the importance of also taking care of your body. You can do a workout or two in your room. Anything that gets you out of bed, gets you on your feet and away from your screen is the best thing.
Yeah, that is true, especially when we're sitting down majority of the time for classes, but definitely the mask is something I think is for the books. I still don't know where I put mine. That's why I have a lot and I still managed to lose some of them. So it's something students did not have to face before. So definitely keeping organized and readjusting your study space. Having probably your bedroom now look to like an office because you're going to be on camera for majority of the day. So thank you guys for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and proceed on to our next question. One very important aspect of self-care is saying no. So what advice do you give to fellow students as to how they can say no without feeling guilty or pressure to do it at all?
I definitely see where you feel pressure to say no because I'm always I find myself as a people pleaser. So I'll always say yes, even if I 100% feel like I don't want to or I'm not comfortable with it. And it's still like ongoing process with me that I'm trying to work on. But I do have a new perspective that I look on and tell to myself that no means new opportunities. So by me saying no for my mental health now, I'm allowing better opportunities to come my way, especially once I've taken the necessary time to like um sit back and kind of like regain my good thoughts and my mental health and my well-being. So I always try to repeat myself that no means new opportunities. And I feel like we're all going to be in a better headspace if we feel comfortable and we feel 100% about it. So don't feel guilty for saying no because, again, like Catherine said, self-care is not selfish. And by saying no, you are practicing self-care because you could have said yes and you're not 100% in it. You know, I'd rather say no and then be 100% in something else that I'm completely comfortable with. So saying no is not selfish. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting your energy, and that's what really matters at the end of the day, is you.
Yes, that's definitely the new model. Saying no means new adventure, means a lot of different things. So maybe that's a logo that Melissa probably can work on. And any of you guys have any comments on how to say no? Maybe how would you guys go about it? What advice do you give students to not feeling pressure?
Yeah, personally, I struggle with being upset. That sounds funny, but I struggle with just sometimes wanting to stay at home and not wanting to go out. So when I first heard this question, I was like, saying no, like sometimes it's okay to say yes. Like, and that's something that I want to bring to light. If your friends are inviting you outside, your family's inviting you outside, and you say no because you want to stay inside, try saying yes just one time, see if you like it. And of course, I'm not saying for every time say yes. I hope I'm getting this right, but when the question is no because you're overwhelmed, then I would go about it by saying no, but instead we can try this. Or no, how about we do this instead? How about at a different time? And if you just don't want to do something, no, okay, my body is going to thank me later. My mind is going to thank me later. I'm saying no, not because I want to hurt your feelings, but for myself. So, no. I think that's very important. Um, and when it comes to saying yes, is sometimes your mind will tell you, no, you don't want to go outside. No, you don't want to eat. No, you don't want to hop in the shower. No, you don't want to practice your self care. Say, okay, I don't, but my mind says yes, so I should. Push yourself that extra step. Again, I think that trying to do something every day that you didn't do yesterday, or do what you did yesterday, but do it 10 times better. Even if it's just, again, making your bed, going outside, making a new meal, etc.
Yeah, so it is okay to say both no and yes. Um, and definitely, it's probably creating boundaries with your loved ones, with the people you care about. It's constructing that and them understanding that if you do say no, it's not because it's a bad thing. It's just, as you said, Catherine, it's because you're taking care of yourself. Yourself comes first before maybe going out with your friends. So sometimes that is something we want to take into consideration, creating those proper boundaries, especially because a lot of those boundaries are right now being crossed because we're either at home doing school or we're working from home. So those boundaries are they're all together right now. It's not like how we used to back, go to school and we left home, or school, we left it at school. So it's just creating those boundaries, and it is okay to say yes. And Curtis, do you have any input on maybe saying no or maybe saying yes?
Well, yeah. I think, in my opinion, sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it is hard to say yes because you're getting peer pressure to do something that you don't want to do, which makes you want to say no at the same time. So, in my opinion, I want to give out to kids is do what you want to do and do what puts your mind into it. Don't just because people are saying, "Oh, you should do this because it'll make you look, cool" or something like that, that you don't want to listen to those type of people. Those are people that are just trying to make you feel peer pressure. And peer pressure happens all the time, and something that we're going to have to go through together. So in my opinion, feel free to say no sometimes, because you don't always have to listen to what people are saying, or they're not your mom or dad. So don't listen to those people that are making you try to do something that
Yeah, always that is very important. You have to take care of yourself, and maybe not listen to that person that's persuading you to do something you probably don't want to do. Again, it's rechecking those boundaries with those people and making sure that you take care of of yourself first, whether it's saying no, whether it's saying yes, making sure you put yourself first. But thank you all for responding. I'm going to go ahead and proceed on to the next question. In what ways have you been encouraged by a friend or a family to participate in self care?
My dad knows that I am such a well, I'm really social, but this pandemic has made me again just want to stay inside my room the whole time. So what we do is my whole family will come out and we'll all play soccer or baseball. And trust me, I do not know how to play soccer or baseball, but we always end up having a really good time. And with parents and as a teenager, it's always like, oh my God, get away from me, get out of my room, don't talk to me right now, let me talk to my friends on my phone. But it's really helpful. I mean, like our parents are getting older and you never know what can happen. And I'm going to college soon, I might see them a little less. And when it comes to my friends, it's the exact same thing. It's always like, hey, let's go this way. Let's go to the mall. Let's go to this restaurant. And if anything, I struggle with saying yes and saying like, yeah, I'll go out. And I guess this brings us back to saying no as well. Like, Curtis brought up a good point earlier of like, oh, you know, they're not your mom and they're not your dad for them to tell you what to do. But if your parents want to make you do something that you do not want to do, it's okay to say no as well. And I feel like that might be a little bit harder for some teenagers and some kids, but just see if anything, make a pro and a cons list. How will this benefit me and the people around me in the future? How will it affect me now? How will it affect other people? And just be conscious of all of your decisions.
Yeah. I love that, Catherine. A pro and a con list, especially when telling your parents, no, I do not want to do my chores. And creating that pro and that con list as in why it is a good thing that you may not do your chores. Maybe you'll have more time to do homework instead of doing the dishes. So I love that. I always like lists. And how about Melissa or Curtis? Do you have any input of has anybody in your life, family, friends encouraged you to practice self-care?
Yeah, always my mom always, tries to use like words of affirmations to kind of like motivate me to like get up and kind of like kind of shake off like the rut I'm in, and she's always pushing me because she knows that I have potential to, do better every day, and also my sisters. And I feel like having a strong support system is really really important, and I didn't realize how important that was until a recent years, so I think a lot of people don't have a really strong support system, whether that be friends, family, or both. So that's like kind of like a double thing that can affect people. But yeah, like I said, my mom always tries to verbally encourage me, just like my sisters. So I feel like even just saying words can just help, especially coming from somebody you love, can, kind of motivate you to practice self care or get up and do the thing that you love but you've been putting behind, So I feel like developing or creating a strong support system with good people who have good intention and good energy is the first step to start, whether that be family, friends, mentors, teachers. That's all involved in trying to motivate you to be better and do better.
That is wonderful. And it's wonderful that your mom does those words of encouragement, those motivations. Sometimes we do need like a little pick me up, especially when we're not probably feeling our best. And I know personally that I did not discover my, um, I guess, my social circle until I went to college. That's when I really found out who was really my support system. And sometimes during tough times like stress, anxiety, when we may not be feeling our best, sometimes leaning on those people it's a wonderful thing because they know what you're currently going through and they can always give you words of encouragement to keep on going. And Curtis, do you have any friends or family that encouraged your self-care during this time?
My mom really encouraged me from the start of the pandemic, like by a lot. She like probably one of the best mom ever because she helped me a lot with my struggles and everything. At the time when COVID first hit, and I didn't really want to be around nobody. So my mom talked to me, and she worked things out. I started playing basketball. I mean, I was playing basketball before, but I started to play more basketball. I started wanting to hang out with my friends. I felt comfortable in who I was talking to. My mom was always that person I would talk to, anything. But yeah, I just want to thank my mom.
That was really good. And snaps for Curtis's mom. She really helped him through and, them push through this probably hard time that I know a lot of kids were facing of probably not wanting to get out. And I know a lot of students came to me of like, well, I don't have lunchtime to talk to my friends. So it is a huge pusher to keep on having our activities that we had before, like basketball or maybe soccer. Like Catherine, even though we're not good at it, it's completely okay, but it's still having that interaction with our family members and still keeping in touch with our support system. But thank you guys for answering that question. I want to proceed on to the next question. What is one way you and your family practice self-care together? I know, Catherine, you answered a little bit about like how you guys play soccer together. Anybody else want to touch on how you and your family practice self-care together as a family?
Well, I can relate to that by a lot again with my mom. Um, Sometimes we'll go outside and spend quality time together, and or like shoot some hoops outside. Shoot some hoops, I'll shoot some hoops, or sometimes we'll go to the park and like maybe do a mile run together, or sometimes we'll watch a movie together. Something that that makes us feel happy, and yeah.
That's good. Wonderful. Staying in touch again with your inner child is always good. I know I usually play soccer with my nephew, but the pandemic the family, I had to stop seeing them because of, limits, restrictions. But it's good that you guys take a mile run. That is wonderful. I cannot run for the life of me, but watching a movie is great. I know there's a lot of great movies that I've been rewatching lately. So if you have any tips on what movies to watch, Curtis, I would greatly appreciate it because I will definitely be watching those movies. And Melissa, do you have any other self-care that you practice with your family together? Any activities?
Yeah, mine is more not like a big activity, but it's more of like a form of self-care we can do together. Is by, and I feel like it's a little bit underrated, and it's just by sitting down and just talking about how we feel. And instead of trying to give our opinion right away, we just sit down and listen to each other. And I feel like that was a struggle that me and my family had throughout all these years. We never really sat down and talked about things. That's kind of something you would see only in the movies of like families sitting down. So for it to actually happen was very refreshing, and it was like, wow, we really needed this to kind of like say what's on our mind, say what's bothering us, and I feel like that's our form of self-care, of feeling better. And just I think sometimes we all need to vent, especially to our family members, especially if you grew up in a really, I wouldn't want to say toxic, but in a troubled household. Those feelings can carry on to your life and bleed out into other things. So it's important that we address them, and especially with the people that it started with, that can just be a form of self-healing. It's kind of like a little healing circle that me and my mom and my sisters do, because there's always room to grow, and there's so much to heal from, especially 2020 pandemic times. But yeah, I definitely feel like self-care little circle of venting really helped me and my family ground ourselves and just feel better in general.
No, I do think that's very important. I think every family should have that circle or that dinner where you guys are looking at each other's eyes, because nowadays we're just caught up on our phone, caught up probably in school, and we're too busy probably finishing assignments or on our phones that we forget to talk to each other as a family and talk to each other on how our day went, or if we had an issue amongst family, especially now during the pandemic, that we're all probably in one house. There's always issues going on. Somebody got my tissues, or somebody got the broom and I don't know where's it at. So it's those little issues that maybe having that little circle or having that dinner time with your family to discuss certain issues or even talk about each other's day is very helpful during the pandemic. And even after the pandemic, I feel like not a lot of families do that because we only see it in the movies, but sometimes ourselves we don't do it. So implementing that, I think it's a great thing to do as a family. And Catherine, do you have any other activities that you do with your family to practice self-care together?
Yeah, dinner time. I'm so happy you mentioned that. That's really important. Just being able to sit down with your family. And again, it might sound silly, but sometimes I'm upset at my dad. My parents had an argument, and we just sit down and eat. And eating brings everybody together. You know, nobody can be talking, it can be really silent, and you'll be like, "Can you pass me the cheese?" And then from there, it's like, "So, how was your day?" So, this, and this. And everybody just starts laughing. It's just, I mean, hey, you have food and you're talking. What can go wrong? Um, Also, every morning, say good morning to your parents. Even if it's formal, just a quick good morning. Talk to your parents. I mean, sometimes, like, again, maybe it's because we're young and teenagers, but I feel like we kind of shift away from our parents for a little bit, or it's kind of like awkward to always have them there, or your little sisters too. My little sister, I know she always wants to see everything that's on my phone. So, just talking to them, asking them, "How are you feeling today, mom?" Because my mom, at least my mom and my parents are both extremely busy. So any chance they get to rant, they'll take it. And I think that helps both of us get closer. It helps them with their day and it helps me with my day. And another thing that we do physically is like we go walking like Curtis. We just go walking nature. We don't even have to run. And it's just really helpful because you see your parents, you see nature, your body gets in a better condition, and so does your mind.
Yeah, and that's great, Catherine. I'm glad that you brought the topic of food because I think food it's our soul, and I think that's the way to get into our hearts. I do not care who you are, food will always bring people together. So it's good that your family does that. And taking a walk, like I know a lot of people adapted that because when before the pandemic, that's probably something that a lot of people did within our families. So still trying to maintain that is a wonderful thing to do as a family. And again, it starts from home. Self-care always starts from home. So practicing it as a family is a wonderful way to go. But thank you all. What self-care resources or activities are offered at your school? And is there a direct line of service that you can reach out for support?
At my high school, we had like a club basically on self care. So that was a way for getting my dogs barking in the background. Issues with being at home. But yeah, so we had like a club for self care where we were able to just sit down and talk. And it was actually run by one of the social workers, which leads me on to talking about social workers at school, which kind of doubled as therapists. And when I was in high school, I did go to one of them and they really did help. So I feel like just kind of like asking around your even your teachers or your counselors, asking like what resources do you guys have or offer for me to talk to somebody, or get involved with people who are going around with the same issues as me, which is like the self-care club. I'm pretty sure there's at least one, hopefully there is at least one resource or someone you can talk to. But definitely at my school, at Van Nuys High School, there was psychiatrists or social workers there to help you out. So that was awesome, and I really appreciate my school for offering that because I really needed it at that time.
That's good. That's good that you have those wonderful resources and that wonderful support system to help you out navigate, your final year of high school, which is something that's stressful. And then on top of that, with a pandemic, it adds a little bit more stress as well. And there is resources. I mean, you can go with your counselor. I have firsthand experience with students coming in and telling me, I need this, I need that. And trust me, if you go with your counselor, any administrative people within your school, you will find that resource, that club that you're looking for to assist you with what you need. And Curtis, do you have any resources in your school that were offered that helped you with your self-care?
No, but I did have a therapist from the start of sixth grade because, well, no, in the middle of sixth grade. She really helped me a lot through my struggles, and sometimes she even helped me with my own homework, as I understand. But she really helped me throughout the rest of sixth grade because it was really hard. It was really hard times for everybody, and I needed someone to talk to because at the start of sixth grade, I didn't really have nobody to talk to. So she really helped me a lot. She helped me express my feelings of what I've been going through to the day-to-day basis. And I just want to thank thank you, well, thank her of what she's done for my sixth grade. Sixth.
That's good, Curtis. You had your therapist that helped you with your sixth grade experience because, again, you were transitioning from sixth to seventh grade, and it's already a heavy transition to do itself. And then adding the pandemic, it adds extra stress. But I'm glad that you found someone that helped you through the process. And maybe it was not only just mental health, but it was also with your homework, which sometimes students struggle day in and out, and sometimes they don't have that person they can ask, like, hey, what do you understand this? And not having your teachers there like how you usually do can take an effect on people, and also not interacting with your friends as much can also affect people. So I'm really happy that you had your therapist, and thank her. Hopefully she's streaming with us, and if she's watching us, thank you very much for your services. And Catherine.
Yeah. At my school, we don't have a therapist, but someone that I got really close to was my counselor. Whenever I had an issue with school, I remember I was just in her room and I was ready to bawl my eyes out, and I was just like, "No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry." And then she looks at me and she holds me. She's like, "It's okay to cry," and I just started bawling my eyes out, and I was like, "No, it's not my grades, this and this." And then she's like, "No," she was like, "We're gonna work through this. I'm gonna help you." And my grades and everything was amazing afterwards. I think somebody who also helped me a lot is a teacher. Like, if you don't, I mean, personally, I don't have a therapist, and it's not really like my counselor's job to like deal with that. So I ended up getting really close to my English teacher and to my math teacher, and sometimes teachers will have office hours or after school hours in which they're very willing to talk to you because they're on Zoom, and sometimes teachers need that interaction as well. So we'll stay after, and if I don't have a problem with homework, then we'll just talk about the latest thing that happened on the news. And sometimes even talking to someone that you don't normally talk to makes things so much easier just to express yourself.
Yes, that is very true. I know, Catherine, that I got close to some of my students when they would come into office hours, and they would just talk, not necessarily probably about what we're meeting for. Maybe they were just talking about their home life. And it was honestly really nice to see them. And I know I had a lot of teachers telling me the same thing, that it was nice to see the students come into office hours, maybe not to get help, but maybe just to talk with them and see their faces, or just talk about how their day is going. So I know a lot of the teachers and counselors appreciated when students come in, maybe not necessarily asking for help, but just asking a question that leads to a conversation. And Catherine, I see your hand is up.
Yes, and I forgot to mention, but I really want to mention this. If you don't have anyone to talk to at school or at home, Families in Schools has a lot of resources on their website, which you guys should totally check out. If anything, send a message to them on Instagram, they will help you. And if you're ever feeling hopeless or anything, please call a hotline. There's always at least one person you can talk to. You can talk to me, and if I don't talk to you, you can talk to Melissa, and if not, then Curtis, and not then Fernanda, everybody. But always send Families in Schools a message, look online for their resources, and yeah, call someone.
Yes, definitely check out the web page. They have a lot of wonderful resources for students to look at, and especially if you need someone to talk to. Again, we all have that moment in time where we feel we got nobody, and maybe Instagram, they'll message you, and you can have a conversation. It doesn't matter the time or day. Just having that conversation with someone. So I want to go on to my next question. Why do you think it's important to practice self-care as a student, and has it benefited you in any shape or form?
Oh, oh, I was gonna say I think it's very important to practice self care as a student because what happens when you're not a student anymore? If you think about it, everything that you do kind of becomes a hobby, and you kind of never start doing that. It's like practice makes perfect. Soon you won't have to remind yourself every day, okay, I need to do this for my self care. I need to journal today. I need to go outside today. I need to make my bed today. I need to take a shower today. Everything you'll do will be like, oh, okay, oh, I didn't do my bed today. That feels wrong. Let me go do it. Or, oh, I need to make sure I'm keeping up with my hygiene. And as a student, it's just really important because sometimes we freak ourselves out over the littlest things of whether or not we turn something in before 12 p.m. or like whether or not we missed a class or if we need to be there a little bit early. So just making ourselves feel comfortable inside and out is really important.
Yes, and that is very important. Making sure you feel comfortable inside and out is very important for us to keep in mind. Again, prioritizing ourselves and having that boundary is always important. And I think Melissa wanted to go in.
Yeah, I just want to add that self care as a student is really important because I feel like we're always thinking about the next assignment, about the next exam, the next test, and we're tend to probably shove and like repress all these feelings that we don't know that we should discuss or take time to feel them. And I feel like we're just always running on time. We need to make sure we meet the deadline. We do the project. We do all these things. We kind of push all of these important things behind us, like basically we're not prioritizing ourselves. So yeah, again, I think we're also busy, so those things, if we're so busy and we're not paying attention to those thoughts or those negative emotions or things that we haven't solved, they can bleed into other things. Like you might be sloppy at work, you might be angry at people that don't deserve your anger, those your emotions that you're not solving can bleed into other things. And I feel like it's really important we take that designated time to solve those issues so we can come into these new work environments, these new friendships with an open mind and things like that. But I feel like taking care of myself has really allowed me to have a balance of a me and work time. Before it was basically work, 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 school to school, small business. I didn't have time for me. And I realized that me being in balance with things just was really made me feel off my body. It just was a really bad time. But once I started creating a routine, like Catherine said, creating a routine has really like allowed me to stay on track and stay focused. Like I wake up, drink water, do my journaling, do all these things, and it's really helped me perform better as a student, as a small business owner, as a daughter, as a friend. So that's why it's really important to take care of your mental health, or it can affect everything else around you that you maybe don't want it to affect, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Mm. And it does make perfect sense. We have to take care of oneself if we want to do the activities we may want to do or perform well in our exams. Again, having the adequate amount of sleep, having that time away from the computer, structuring, maybe creating a list of pros and cons, or maybe just creating a list to check off and to sometimes checking off something from your list, you sometimes feel like you have achieved more, or you're on the right path for that day or for that week. So it's definitely something we want to practice even before, during, after the pandemic. It's something that we want to take care of ourselves and our mental well-being as well. And Curtis, do you have any practices as a student that you want to share, or how has self-care helped you as a student?
Self-care helped me really a lot by having a clear and healthy mindset. I really think that it helped me a lot because, I would check back on how I was doing personally or, you know, see how I was feeling throughout the day. I always want to think about I always want to think about myself first before I even do anything because, sometimes, might have a mental health breakdown or yeah, but I just really like to check on myself by having a clear and healthy mindset. Think about the things I'm about to do or what I'm about to do before my actions. And yeah.
Yeah, it's important to check on ourselves. I think all of you guys touched on that. Checking on ourselves. How are we doing? Because we always want to have a clear mindset, as you mentioned, Curtis. We don't want to go into something kind of hazy because that can have us perform not well on that exam. That was really important, and that can add extra stress because of the failure failing the class or not doing well for that semester. So it is very important to always check on ourselves and make sure we are doing okay. Um, so I know we talked a lot about self care, on what we do as a family, what we do as individuals to take care of ourselves. But I wanted to ask as a closing question, because self care is very broad. I know a lot of people have a lot of suggestions of what they do, but as you guys are entering different stages of your lives, Curtis, you're entering seventh grade. Melissa, you're entering your first year of college. And Catherine, you're entering 12th grade. Again, all of these are different stages in our lives. What self care practice you really found it during this pandemic that you are going to continue in practicing into your new chapter of your life? Oh, Curtis,
Um,
as you know.
I'll, I'm really gonna look back on checking on myself on how I'm doing mentally. Um, I really want to, check up on myself to see how I'm doing, because I don't want to start off seventh grade bad. I want to start off great and amazing and meet me some new friends or something like that. But I'm really going to check on myself a lot and see how I'm doing. That way, I won't go down into a mental breakdown or anything like
That's good. Checking on oneself is something very important. I think we all, as individuals, should be practicing to make sure we are going in the right path with a clear mindset. So that is something good to continue on in practicing as your self care. And I think Melissa is going.
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, like journaling is something that really I guess a good thing that came out of the pandemic for me was I really took the time to sit down and journal, and like Curtis said, it's a way to kind of check in yourself. Like, and I do write like the top of my like the paper or my journals like daily check-in to see how I'm doing. I feel like we're always maybe constantly checking up on our parents and our friends and all this stuff, but we never think about checking in on ourselves. Like, how are we feeling today? How are we how are we feeling overall? What are we hoping for this week or this day to go, like, to go basically? But yeah, journaling is something I'm gonna carry on probably to the end of time for me because it really really helped me, and it's kind of a way, it's kind of like therapy in a way, but with yourself. You only really know yourself, nobody else can really know you. They can get to know you, of course, but you really know who you are, and it's a way to also get to know you and like, oh, I really had these thoughts before, but now I have these thoughts. And I'm a little extra, so I have 3 journals designated for three different aspects of what I want to like focus on. So my green one's like kind of like a daily every day. This one's kind of for my future and manifestations and like things I want, like kind of good things. This is more like a daily. This is for all the good energy stuff. And then this one's, I call it my feels. It's all the feels, whether it's good or bad. Majority it's bad, but it's or negative, I should say, not bad, negative feelings. But it really does allow me to just say what I gotta say. I always feel so much better after I write down what I have to say. If something went wrong during the day, I'm like, man, like I don't want to just sit with it throughout the day. I rather just write it down, read it over again and then close it. It's kind of like you're closing a chapter in your life. That makes sense. So I really, really recommend journaling. It's really helped me be in a better mindset and a better space. So that's all I had to say.
Yes, I absolutely love the 3 journals. I don't think it's extra, especially writing down your feelings. I feel that that does figuratively and I guess literal. You're closing it, you're leaving it, you're putting away. So you put away those feelings that you probably built up during that day, or so it's something very important. I do agree that a lot of people should practice. Maybe not 3 journals, but one journal that helps, and you can close it off. But if you have 3 journals or 4 journals for everything that you want in your life, that is a wonderful way to keep on with your manifestations and your positive vibes that you want in your lives, as well as if something happened during the day, maybe you can look back at it and laugh at it later on. You never know, but definitely I do love the journaling. And
Sorry, I just want to add that it doesn't have to even be in a journal. It can be a notebook, or it could be your notes app on your phone, or a piece of sticky note. Like, it doesn't have to be hardcore journaling. Just writing down your feelings in general is really helpful. So like I said, it doesn't have to be on a journal. It could be the notes app, a piece of paper, a napkin, even, just get it out there. I feel like it will really help you.
yes. Yeah, I think it will help everybody just get down our feelings. So definitely love that you're going to continue on that, especially with your new chapter. And maybe you can create a book for us. But Catherine, do you have, I know you're entering your 12th grade year, which is, I know, very stressful, and a lot of important things are going down during this time. Something that you discovered during the pandemic that you want to continue doing as part of your self-care?
Yeah, again, like I mentioned, journaling, but I think Melissa did 10 times a better job than I did as convincing somebody to journal, but I only have one notebook, so guess I'll get 2 more. Um, I think something that I learned throughout this pandemic is doing things for yourself. Sometimes I think, oh, okay, I'm gonna wear this shirt so that it fits the occasion, or I'm gonna wear these pants so it fits the occasion, or I'm gonna work out so I look nice for other people. And for me, now I look at it and I'm just like, I'm gonna wear this shirt because I like it. I'm gonna wear these pants because I like it. I'm gonna work out because it makes me feel better. It makes me look better. It makes my mind feel better. It like de-stresses me. So I think doing stuff for yourself is the best things you can do in general. Journal for yourself, not because I'm telling you, not because Melissa's telling you, but because you truly want to. Another thing is painting. Just I love to paint. I love to sit outside. This pandemic has been really weird. I went from embroidering to roller skating to to debating. I'm a big reader as well, so you'll always catch me with the book. And sometimes you might think, oh, books are boring, but read Crime and Punishment, and you will know books are not boring. Read any book. I can recommend The Bluest Eyes or even Animal Farm. Anything that's there will take your mind off your reality and into another reality. So it's amazing.
Yes, that is amazing. I mean, books, I do know that they do take you into an alternate reality of maybe it's a topic that interests you. Maybe it could be crime. Maybe it could be, manifestation. Maybe a book about journaling could be an interest that you want. I know during the pandemic, a lot of people discovered new hobbies and new things that they never thought they would ever do, and they did it during the pandemic. So I love all of your guys' ideas. I thank you guys all for answering the questions, being here as panelists, and sharing your tips and advice. I know we all had different forms of self-care, and it all comes in different shapes and forms. We are practicing journaling, we have basketball, we have time with our family. So it's something that, there's no one set way to practice self-care, especially when it's an evolving thing. What we might like right now, we might not like it later. So it continues going on and on. But thank you guys for sharing. I know there was a lot of benefit in the conversation, I know the pros and cons list. Definitely, if a student tries to do that on me, I'll definitely look at the pros and cons list. And one thing that I like is, making your bed in the morning. It's probably something I'm going to try because I am horrible at keeping doing a list. So I try my best on keeping lists, but I'm more of a sticky note person and color coordinating. So definitely going to try making my bed, and I'm going to put it in the first thing in the list. And I love that Curtis brought in that his mom helped him out a lot. I know when I was younger, my mom was my number one support system, and she still is. I still get text messages of words of encouragement, which I know Melissa, she said that that's what her mom does. So I do encourage parents to keep on pushing through and giving those words of encouragement for our students, especially during these difficult times, and even after these difficult times. Most of our students still need those words of encouragement because sometimes, they do face difficult issues, maybe in school or maybe at home. But definitely, the model that Melissa said today is something, Melissa, you need to put it as a slogan, you need to put it in a sticky note, but no means a new opportunity should be a new model that should be in there. So it's okay to say no as well and say yes, but if we do have to say no, it's okay. So I'm going to bring back Jessica, our community engagement coordinator.
Thank you, Fernanda. So I want to say thank you so much to our panel for sharing and just being so open with your stories. You are all just truly amazing. And as always, these panels continue to inspire me, and this one especially was just like wonderful. So thank you, Fernanda, for being for taking your role as a moderator in this conversation, truly just capturing the importance of self-care and the many ways that students can take care of themselves. Also, a big thank you to our amazing panelists, CJ, Catherine, and Melissa, for sharing your self-care tips and firsthand experiences, especially as students who have such busy schedules, but I know that you continue to find time to prioritize yourselves. And honestly, hearing all of you taking care of yourselves truly just brought me so much joy. And this panel was one of its kind because we had student representatives from middle school, high school, college, and a graduate student. So it was such a dynamic group. So thank you so much for just sharing your time and your stories with us. And as a reminder from myself to you, there's no right or wrong way to self-care. So rather you do what feels right for you. And that was definitely brought on by Melissa, by Curtis, by all of the panelists, by Fernanda, everyone, Catherine. Everyone was so just great sharing their self-care journeys. And just remember, do what feels right for you and do what feels right for your mental and your physical health. And it's okay to have a different self-care routine from your friend. That's totally okay. So before we wrap up today's session, I want to give a big round of applause and thank you to all of our students and families who have joined us this summer for our Passport to Success campaign. We appreciate you all and just the time that you took to work on your student workbooks and also just to watch these live panels. So we wish you all the best of luck as you return to school, whether that's in person or online. And don't forget to add in some self-care routines in between. So for those of you who will be submitting your workbooks this Sunday, please note that the scholarship winners will be announced on September 27th. So we'll be announcing scholarship winners via our social media and also on our website. So September 27th, we'll be announcing. Also for educators and counselors, if you're interested in learning more about our other college awareness and preparation programs, please feel free to visit us at familiesinschools.org. We have plenty of other opportunities and programs available, so please reach out to us. I want to be happy to provide more information. Students and families, we hope you will continue to explore colleges and careers. It doesn't stop here, and it's never too late, and it's never too early. And just have a great rest of your summer. Lastly, I challenge you all to take 10 minutes this evening to do something for you, something that is unique for you. Because remember, you matter. And as Catherine said, Self-care is not selfish. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Bye.